Loving greetings to you. I'm Paul Friedman. I'm the founder of the Marriage Foundation. This topic it's a good topic, but I'm going to speak to you more about marriage itself, if that's okay with you. So the topic is, what 3 things can I do? My wife is so bossy. So let's discuss why you got married. Let's start there, okay? You fell in love with your wife, but that's not why you got married. That's why you married her. Why you got married, and I know this because I used to do this little experiment with all of my clients. This is not, our foundation is not just online. I actually used to be a divorce mediator, and I was working with people live and developed this whole system, this whole teachings of marriage that have nothing in common with the Western psychological processes. You know, what couples counseling does, our stuff really works. So you need to understand that you got married, and what I would do is I'd ask my clients, well, why did you get married? And then I would tell them, I got $300 a session, by the way, and I would tell them, look, if your ideas are better than mine, then you don't have to pay for this session. Lots of incentive, right? I got all the usual responses. I don't want to be lonely. I wanted sex. I wanted to be with someone who loved me. I wanted to be with my soulmate, blah, blah, blah. But I narrowed it down. We get married for the same reason we live. We want to be happy. Who doesn't want to be happy, right? The problem is, because our world is so messed up right now, it refuses to acknowledge any spiritual concept for fear of it turning into a religious sales pitch. I'm not a religious sales pitcher. I'm not going to talk about religion at all. But we are spiritual beings. We crave love because we are love. We're souls. We have a body and we have a mind. But we're simple in a way too. That same what we are, that soul, is ever new joy. By definition, it's part of God. And what we crave is to be happy. That's the spiritual path in a nutshell, to be happy. And so I've redefined marriage. Marriage is a spiritual path taken by 2 individuals together, but each one is on their own spiritual path with the goal to be happy. And guess what? Marriage is designed for happiness. You're supposed to be happy. It's like getting a car and just jumping in and listening to the radio because it's got a good sound system. And that's not why you get a car. You get a car because it's a vehicle. It's to take you from one place to another. It has a purpose. Marriage has a purpose. Its purpose is to provide a venue within which you can be beyond happy, within which you can express, learn to love unconditionally, learn to express it. Very difficult proposition in the world at large. And so what happens is we have this microcosm of life called marriage, and that's where it can all take place. And here you are. I don't mean to belittle your complaint, but put it in those terms, in that perspective. Why are you married? So you don't have a wife who's bossy? No. So what do? Number 1, you love her. Look beyond this flaw. It's a flaw. There's no question about it. But just because she has the flaw doesn't mean you have to be so focused in on it. That's on you. You should be focused in on your love for her. Right? So that's number 1. Look past the flaw. Remember you love her. Remember how beautiful she is. Remember how much she turns you on. Remember how awesome a human being she is. Focus there. And maybe she's not behaving like an awesome human being right now, but you're not either, because neither of you learned how to be married. You know, one of the things that happened, and I like I said, I was a divorce mediator 22 plus years ago, and I changed over to this because I realized we don't know how to be married in this world. Not just in the West, in this whole world. we don't know how, because we don't understand ourselves, we don't understand each other, we don't understand marriage. So that's what the Marriage Foundation is for. And now once again, I trained marriage counselors, because we have our own variety. We have TMF, the Marriage Foundation, trained marriage counselors. I had like the best in San Diego in 2012. I trained them. They're off on their own now. We're growing. We have to have more. And we want to train some to be on the street who are earning a living being marriage counselors, but doing it right. Doing it right. And so if you're interested in joining us like that, go to the website and click on the link that'll bring you to the enrollment. You'll learn all about it. It's a great opportunity for you. So our ways are very different, very positive. If you're a subscriber, you know that. If you're not a subscriber, become one. So that's number one. Look beyond her flaw. Number two, don't take her bossiness personally. It's just who she is. That's like having a dog and it scratches all the time and it drives you nuts. That's on you. You don't have to be driven nuts because your dog is scratching. So there's nothing about her bossiness that has to impact you. It's a choice. This too is something that we teach, and you could watch our videos. That's free. Subscribe. You could read the articles. There's lots on our website. You could get one of my books, which is really helpful if your marriage is in super trouble, and I don't believe it is. If this is your only complaint, then you don't need a course for men, and your wife doesn't need a course for women. What you need is a greater understanding, and you could get that even just from these videos, which is free. If you want to spring for the book, spring for the book. That's fine. It's up to you. Now, one of the things that I was referring to about we don't learn is that the mind is a possession. It isn't us. But because we were never taught that, we're so identified with the habits of the mind, the reactiveness, the instincts, all of that stuff that's of the mind. And so when we're that way, we don't even feel our heart. We don't feel our true selves, because that's who we really are. So if you don't take her bossiness personally, what I'm talking about is be an observer of it, but don't be a recipient of it. There's lots of ways to handle that. You can think of, you could just smile when she's being bossy. Not a mean smile, but just a smile. Oh, that's my wife. That's her flaw. No big deal. I love her. She's amazing. And how cute is this? And to be perfectly honest with you, this is a flaw that many, many, many women have. And it's the same recommendation to most men is don't worry about it. Don't take it personally. It's not aimed at you. She was that way when she was a kid. So, number three, and this is probably the most important of all my suggestions. Number three is to cultivate your love for her. Don't focus on the bossiness, but use it as a trigger. So when she's being bossy, in particular when she's being really bossy and all of your reactions are going nuts, use that as a trigger to remember how amazing she is, you see. And this is how we cultivate our love for our spouse. We think of them in the most beautiful terms. And you could think about when you got married, even if it was a long time ago, you could think about how she looks when she dresses up. You could think about how she smiles at you and it just blows you away. So cultivate that love for her, because that's what marriage is all about. You're intended to be happy every single day of your life. You're supposed to be happier than you were yesterday. And tomorrow, you're supposed to be happier than you are today. This is the truth. You're a soul, you have a body, you have a mind. Live it. What do you got against joy, right? I was born in joy, I live my life in joy, and one day I will melt again back into joy. I'm Paul Friedman. I'm the founder of the Marriage Foundation. I hope you appreciate us. Like the video, leave a comment if you want. God bless you. See you again, and take care.